Man, did we get played? Not only the Steelers, but me and my takes here. Because right after I was done recording yesterday's video, Aiyuk showed up to 49ers practice. That doesn't seem like a thing a dude would do that's about to get traded. Because Aiyuk hadn't been at 49ers practice by all reports over these last 2 weeks. All of a sudden, he shows up yesterday amidst the conversations of the 49ers and Aiyuk opening up contract extension talks again. He shows up in 49ers gear. By all accounts, seems interested and is involved in the offense. He wasn't practicing, but was involved and attentive, talking to teammates. Damn. That doesn't exactly sound like a dude that's so unhappy with his current situation that he needs to get out of there. It sounds like he's open to returning to the 49ers, and him and them are having contract extension talks. Is it a done deal? No, obviously, because he would have signed a contract with them by now. But it's not a sign in the right direction of him being here in Pittsburgh. It's not pointing in the right direction that he'll be a Steeler. I'll say that. I'll admit that for sure. So, yeah, literally I said I still think Aiyuk's going to be a Steeler. I think it's a done deal. Like, this is just the Niners putting out fake reports to try to get the Steelers to up their offer. Now I got to admit, I don't know. I just don't know at this point. No clue. And were the Steelers getting played all along? Because that's what this could make it seem. That's what this current situation could make it seem like. I don't think so, because I think there is genuine interest from the Steelers. The 49ers were legitimately open to trading Aiyuk. Aiyuk is legitimately unhappy with how the Niners handled all this. But at this point, the Steelers got to set a deadline. They got to put their foot down and be like, we can't just keep being dragged along with all this. Does Aiyuk want to be a Niner, or does he want to be a Steeler? Here's the trade offer. Obviously, us, as in the Steelers, and you guys, the Niners, have agreed to something in place that if Aiyuk wants to be a Steeler, we can get the ball moving. But does Aiyuk want to be a Niner? Does he want to be a Steeler? Like 24, 48 hours, we got to know, because if not, we got to move on. We got to figure out something else at the receiver position, whether it's the guys in-house we're good with, or we're going to look elsewhere, free agency or another trade. Like, we can't keep dragging this along. We're about to be in the second preseason game here this weekend, and then 1 week later, preseason's going to be completely over. And then the season's going to start. We can't keep dragging this along. We can't. And at this point, I'm getting sick of it. I think I'm fully to the point where I'm sick of the Aiyuk talk. Like, I think we were all getting there, but not completely, because there's new information. There's been little bits of new information that have come along that have swayed the story a little bit, even though, as I said yesterday, the crux of the story has stayed the same. Steelers, 49ers, Aiyuk. It's a stalemate. What's going on here? There's been little things that have swung the power in certain directions, but now there is nothing else. Like, this is it. Steelers have their offer. Niners, Aiyuk, they've been talking a contract extension. Aiyuk, what do you want to do here? So now I'm starting to wonder if this is even worth it, because I'm seeing reports that no matter what, if the Steelers get Aiyuk, they view Pickens as their number one and their franchise guy, and they're going to pay him next offseason. And here's what Pickens had to say on the whole situation, because this does make you wonder what's going on in Pickens' mind. What's going on with some of the Steelers receivers' minds and all this, because I'm sure they're hearing it. Here's what Pickens had to say.
Did you pay attention to the talk about Brandon Aiyuk?
Oh, no, not really much. I told you I just be with these guys, being mature, chilling, playing a game. Me, Cal. I kind of lock in only on the Steelers. I hear about it, but I don't really indulge in it.
What would you feel about adding a receiver like that to go with you and the guys?
Oh, I mean, whatever his situation's a different situation. I guess that'll be up to him.
You,
To be honest, I'm only with the guys here today, so.
you know him at all?
No, I never really met him.
Makes you wonder if this is going to be Pickens' team, Pickens' wide receiver room for the years to come, no matter what. What are we doing here, man? What are we doing? Did we make a mistake with trading Diontae? I know a lot of you guys have brought that up over the last several months as we continue to talk about trading for a wide receiver too. A lot of you guys have said, should we have just kept Diontae? He was under contract for one more year. We didn't have him locked in for the next 3 or 4 years or anything. Reasonable cap hit at like 18, 19 million. It's like, why didn't we just keep him for another year? He's a good compliment to Pickens. Obviously, he has some hiccups here and there with the drops. Not the best blocking receiver. But in terms of a guy that can create separation, be a good compliment to Pickens, and also not have us cap strap for the next 3-4 years on a regrettable deal, you could have just kept Diontae. Now, obviously, we wouldn't have Diontae Jackson in the secondary, but there's a lot of good corners that are still out there. Not as many good wide receivers. If you look at the free agent pool, you still got a Stephon Gilmore. Hell, Ahkello Witherspoon played pretty damn good for the Rams. You could probably get him on a 1-year deal for like $4 million, $4 million. He's a solid CB too. We know that. I mean, we're familiar with him. Obviously, his last year here was not good, but I also think he was injured. But had a little renaissance with the Rams last season, and good for him. There's corners out there, Dory Jackson, that you can get for under $10 million that could solidly be a CB2 for you. Whereas a receiver, we're talking about Michael Thomas, Hunter Renfrow, and Diontae Johnson is a step above all those guys. Man, should we just cap Diontae? Part of me says yes on the surface, like right now, just because we're looking for a receiver. But if you dig deep down into it and look at the real reasons the Steelers might have gotten rid of Diontae, then yeah, maybe the trade's still valid. It's still worthwhile for us to do that Diontae trade because maybe the Steelers didn't view Diontae as a locker room fit anymore. Didn't like some of the stuff that has popped up from him over the last couple years with the passive-aggressive stuff on social media, some of the stuff he brings up in his press conferences and interviews that causes some drama. Maybe they just didn't think it was a locker room fit and they were just trying to go in a complete different direction and wanted to hand the keys over completely to Pickens and let him set the tone in this receiver room and mold into his own player, become a professional on his own, as opposed to having Diontae here, who's the veteran receiver, like still, I guess, overshadowing Pickens in a way, even though like he wouldn't be overshadowing him on the field, because I think Pickens is already the best receiver. If we still were to have Diontae, Pickens would be the best receiver on the field. But like in terms of a presence, like Diontae would maybe still be overshadowing Pickens a little bit because he's been here longer and still has the upper hand in terms of like veteran leadership in the receiver room. So maybe this move needed to happen for Pickens to fully step into his own. Also, if the Steelers just didn't view it as a fit anymore, like a locker room fit, that's fine, because there was some stuff that popped up with Diontae this offseason and him not being happy of Kenny potentially being here anymore. And the Steelers heard that, was like, you know what? I think it's just time to move on. But what's funny is if Diontae would have chilled for another week or so, Kenny wouldn't have even been here anyway. Like, because as soon as we signed Russ, we traded Kenny. Then we brought in Fields a few days after that. So it's weird. Yeah, it's this weird like catch-22 of we're looking for a receiver. Diontae would obviously still be a good receiver to have here. I mean, good compliment to Pickens, create separation. With all the hiccups that we had with Diontae, like there's no doubt he's still a Pro Bowl caliber receiver. No doubt. But with Arthur Smith being here, and obviously it's going to be a run-first approach with him calling the shots, with Pickens going into year 3, would it be the best chemistry fit going forward? At least for this season? I don't know. But with Diontae only being under contract for this season, it wouldn't have been the greatest of risks to keep him around. Makes you wonder. Definitely makes you wonder. Did we jump the gun and trade Diontae? Man. I don't know. I don't know what way I'm leaning. Like, part of me says yes, part of me says no. Part of me says yes for all the reasons on the field, but part of me says no, we did make a mistake because maybe this isn't the vision we have going forward for this offense. Like, Diontae just doesn't fit in there anymore. We'll have to wait and see. But that is the one move this offseason of all of them that isn't aging the best, I think it would be fair to say. But let me know your thoughts on the new Aiyuk information. I guess there's no new Aiyuk information. Just where are you at with it? I'm pretty much sick of it. We got to figure this out one way or another. Aiyuk's got to make a decision, and I'm starting to wonder if it's even worth it at this point. And that's why I'm also thinking to myself, man, is all this worth the headache? Could we have just kept Diontae? How desperate are we for this wide receiver too? Van Jefferson does look good. Obviously, we're high on Roman Wilson. Unfortunately, he got hurt. Calvin Austin, we'll see what he can do with his speed. Man, yeah, I guess that's one storyline that we're going to have to wait and see on for sure. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Hope you enjoyed. Stay chilling. Peace.